Hi, my name is Zane Smith, and you're listening to the Dirty Right Rear Podcast.
Hi, this is Kenny Wallace, and you're listening to the Dirty Right Rear Podcast.
Okay, guys, here we are, episode 11, the Dirty Right Rear Podcast. As you guys can see, we're not at the barn today. We're out on tour, the Kenny Wallace Racing Shop up here in Arnold, Missouri. And today we got our guests. We got Billy Smith, we got Zane Smith, and we got Kenny Wallace, and of course Jeremy Sutton at the end.
Yeah.
And today we're kind of gonna dig into a lot of different stuff, man. We're gonna talk to Kenny about, you know, friendship, family, a lot of stuff like that. We're gonna talk about how him and Billy really met, how Billy kind of worked for him for a little bit and done a lot of dirt stuff with him, and how that kind of got into where Zane come from, and now Zane's actually rolling into the micro out of the go-karts and stuff, and all this kind of just rolls together and made a great friendship. And we're gonna talk about a little of that and get involved with a little more than racing today. I think, you know, just talk about all the fun and friendships that they've made and get along with a bunch of stuff like that. But I want to welcome you guys to the show, and thanks for coming. Thanks for letting us use the facility, and I mean, we really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us on, and thanks for making the drive up here to Arnold, Missouri. Yeah, I guess I could have come down there, but what fun would that have been?
Oh, this is way cooler. Yeah. This is way better, man.
You guys got out of town a little bit.
Right? Yeah, we got...
Sutton hadn't been out of St. Francis County in like 4 months.
Yeah, we was driving up here, and I'm like, man, I haven't been north of V Highway in DeSoto in like 2 or 3 months.
I know there was complete built storage buildings, and he goes, well, that's new, and I'm like, that's been there like a year. Yeah.
Hey, it happens.
You need to get out of town.
I do. Well, I made this drive north for 16 years. I used to work in Fenton, so
You've had enough.
Yeah, I don't like to do it no more. I tried living up here for 2 years, and I hated it. So
That there's so much to talk about. Now, this is out of order, but that reminds me of Billy. So Billy worked for me for 8 years, and when it all finally came to an end, Billy looked at me a year later. He goes, Herman, one thing I'm not going to miss is that drive.
Yep.
Hell no.
It's I remember when I lived in South County, you were still living in North Carolina. I'd come hang out with Billy here about once a month or so on Fridays.
Yeah.
I didn't know anybody up here. I hated it, so I had to come hang out with Billy.
Billy, I bet you know every sign, every mile marker there is.
Yeah.
From Farmington
I
to
think
Arnold.
I could drive it in my sleep.
Right? How many times did you drive up here and like sleep through the first half of the drive and wake up and be like, holy shit, how did I get in Festus? Or
That happened a lot. I think.
yeah, man, that's a bad feeling too.
Yeah.
It's scary because, I mean, I drove the city forever in my apprenticeship and stuff, and I'd get to somewhere, halfway almost to downtown and be like, man, I don't remember passing like South County, any of that stuff. But
Billy Klein does that. So sad we lost Andy Don Klein, but Billy, I think his boy works at a Ford dealership. And man, I don't know how many years he's been doing that, but it takes a special kind of person to drive those type of miles every day.
I did it for 16 years, and I lived down home for 14 of those years. And
Wow.
I wouldn't go back now if I had to. Well, I can't say that I would if I had to, but I don't want to.
yeah,
I like my drive to work now. It's like 7 minutes from the house.
Billy will call me to have Billy has trained me. What he does, we're best friends, but when he calls me, I know I got about 3 minutes because he'll call me leaving somewhere.
Right.
And then I'll hear his blinker turning on. I said, "Are you making a left at your house now?" Yep. I say, and then I'll hear ding, ding. That means he's opening his door. I said, "Okay, we'll talk to you later." Is that right, kid?
That's right.
As far as getting off track today, that's honestly kind of what we expect. So let's run with it. You don't have to worry about staying on track or anything. Let's just go with it. We want to hear lots of good, juicy stories today.
I guess, I mean, to get a little bit into the racing stuff, I mean, how did you guys actually meet?
Well, I think the first time we met, I was running a UMP race at Farmington, finished second to Schrader, and I met him for just a little bit after the races, and then I thought, well, I'll probably never hang out with him again. But what's funny, on that same exact night, you were talking to Donnie Jumper about him building your dirt cars, and I was also talking to him about going to work for him, and then a few months later, I was building your first impressive car.
So
on the jigs.
what did you run before Impressive?
I never raced.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I
think that race you ran something like as a Dirtworks car.
yeah.
I don't know what that deal was, but you just ran a couple races for them and then talked to Donnie, I believe.
Yeah, and I'll make this short and sweet. I wanted to learn how to race a dirt car. So at 44 years old, I said, Schrader, teach me how to race dirt. So Schrader was given Mike and Gary Clark
Yeah.
from Dirtworks. I was giving them $500 a race. So Mike and Gary Clark were so good to me. They invented the modifieds, basically. I'm not saying they invented them, but they were the ones.
Yeah, they were the first Dirtworks. Yeah, they were the first big chassis builder, I think, in modifieds. Dirtworks was.
Yeah. So I told Schrader, said, teach me how to race a dirt car. Because my family raced dirt. And I was 44 years old. And I run third at Farmington. Had no clue what I was doing. I mean, horrible dirt racer. I tell people, they'd say, Kenny Wallace is here at Peevely. And they would line up to see how bad I would do, There was a certain amount of embarrassing times. So, that night I ran the Dirtworks car.
Yeah.
And that was just the start, me learning how to race dirt.
And
I never raced any dirt before then. That was like my second or third dirt race of my life.
That's wild.
Yeah.
All these years. So where was your first dirt track experience or first dirt track race that you raced at?
Technically, 1982 or 3, I won the Illinois Street Stock State Championship in Springfield, Illinois, on a mile dirt.
On the mile, okay.
Okay, but then I never raced again. It was just like something to do. And that was Pat Walsh's car. Pictures hanging up here in the shop. And then I started my racing career in 1986, 87, 88. Just kept on racing. And I'm an asphalt racer, I mean, I'm running dirt now, but I'm not a dirt racer. And now I race dirt because I love it. But let me see, kid. What would that have been? I tell you, I know this is going to sound crazy.
2004. I remember that year. But.
Yeah. I just would run a dirt race here and then run a dirt race here. I mean, I remember not even know how to work a Burt clutch. Like, how do I make this thing go?
Yeah.
So, yeah, there was a lot of show races in between where they would pay us to show up.
Yeah, but I went to work for Donnie, and that's how we just became friends. You'd come to the shop, and then I think one day you asked me, why don't you go racing? So I'd go racing with you guys, and we just started becoming friends. And then I guess it was quite a few years later, you started racing quite a bit more, and you kind of said something to me about coming to work for you, and I'll never forget it. It was a night at Peevely, and you said, all right, I want you to come to work for me. And I went home that night. I wasn't sure. You said, don't answer me now. Go home and think about it. And I'll never forget it. I was laying in bed, and probably about, 1, 2 o'clock, Jennifer rolled over and says, take the fucking job and go to sleep. So I went to sleep, and then I think I called you the next day. I said, all right, let's do it.
So at that time, you left Jumper to come here?
Actually, this was years later after he started. I was actually working at Good Earth Tools. I'd left Jumpers already, and I was back at a regular job, but I hated it.
I didn't realize you ever worked Good Earth.
Yeah, off and on. But yeah, I was working there, and then and then the rest, history, I guess. What, Zane?
I wish I knew these stories, but I wasn't even alive.
No, you weren't.
That's kind of a no-brainer. I'm glad Jennifer said that because it's not every day. You would never get this chance again to come work with somebody like Kenny.
No. I mean, I think you told me, said, I'll only guarantee you 2 years of work, but actually I think we made it 9 years maybe.
Yeah, well,
I know we go back
truth
and
be
forth.
told, I always said it was 9 years.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
And he goes, no, it was 8 years. I'm like, okay, whatever. You know me, I always like the more positive. I go towards the more positive side.
Yeah.
But that's accurate.
Yeah.
To the max.
Yeah.
So I love Billy so much that even when it was time to have Zane, IVF, massive amount of effort put into having you, Zane. And so I told your dad, I said, you got to leave me. And I think it was about a year or two later.
Yeah.
I would say to him, I said, Billy, I said, Billy, you got to leave me.
We stood right over there at that sheet metal
Never
table.
forget it.
Yep.
I came from North Carolina, and Billy was running everything. And I know Billy better than anybody. He's got a tone when he's nervous. His voice goes deep. When his voice goes deep, I'm like, because he's such a happy person. And he go, Herman, oh boy. But no, I wanted Billy to leave me because I knew that there was no 401k here. There was no, I paid for his insurance. He had a sweet deal working for me, no doubt. But I knew that when it was time to shut it all down, I wanted him to have something. But then Zane came and was like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was, we'd be out on the road for 2 weeks, and I was like, man, I miss that kid, and it was hard. It was hard enough, me and Jen, we dealt with it, but when we had him, and I was like, man, I'm afraid I'm going to miss something.
So you were around when, he found out. They were going to have finally, everything was
part
great.
Of it.
And
I was part of it. We raised, you owe me, Zane, because we raised a lot of money for you.
That's, a lot of people, most people know Zane was an IVF baby, and it took a lot, it was like $25,000 out of our pocket.
I remember a lot of fundraisers.
Yeah.
And,
friends of ours had fundraisers, and it was cool.
You're awesome. You're a gift from God.
I get emotional on it.
Zane's a gift from God, ladies and
Oh,
gentlemen.
boy.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about something.
let's talk about something
That's
cool.
emotional.
Yeah.
And Samantha Bush, she's the one that just brought it up, and thank God our president, is now going to pay,
I seen that.
Yeah,
And-
I posted about that.
Well, yeah, that's the reason I brought it up.
Yeah,
You posted about it.
Yeah.
Hey, Kim and I tried forever. For a while, I thought there was something wrong with me or Kim, so yeah. So that's awesome.
I can't imagine.
Zane the legend, ladies and gentlemen.
You actually, before he was born, gave him his nickname.
Yeah.
Insane
Zane.
And
Now that's all over everything.
Yeah.
Right? You want to talk about your racing a little bit, Zane? Talk about something make you smile a little bit?
Get your mouth in that mic.
Well, I started racing at Flickerwood and up at Jacksonville. And then coming to the summer, Dover Run became a new track, and I started racing outdoor. And then we just went from there, and now I'm in a micro with Booyer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're awesome. Say that name again.
Booyer.
I know he sounds like a little redneck
He is
hillbilly.
a redneck.
Hey, I was say he is. We're all rednecks.
Oh,
Come
yeah.
on now.
Yeah, I'm the guy that put you in the car to do half a lap at the Tulsa Shootout for 5 days.
Made Dad spend all that $1,000. So all that time, you should have been mad at him, not Dad.
Hey, we done everything in our power, and Zane even watched us.
Yeah.
We had our motor builder come over. We had laptops hooked up to it. We looked through everything. We even replaced fuel pumps.
It was,
Just for it to be one little wire on the front that we'd have never seen, nobody knew. He can't be too mad at us, I hope.
Yeah. And
we'll get it, and he knows we'll get it fixed. It's just when you're down there far away from home and you don't have the resources and everything. It is what it is. And
Right. Let's go ahead and give a shout out. I'll let you guys do it to who's fixing that for you.
yeah, Jeremy
Yes.
Pruitt. Yeah, we got to give a shout out to Jeremy. He got that thing running really good last year, all summer long, dynoing it and
Yep.
tuning it. And then we took it down there, and he messaged me a picture the next day that he found a wire broke. So he
really, we had an injection on it at the very beginning. We kind of knew that wasn't going to work, but we thought we'd just try it. It's expensive stuff, so we thought we'd try it and just see what we could do. And it didn't run. And finally we got this from him. And that guy, took it to his house. He dynoed it for us. He done everything for us, got it hooked up. And then Zane just started rocking and rolling.
And
And then the kids were scared. They were getting scared.
I remember play day at Doe Run last year. Billy Joe Beard texted me, him, and a couple of guys got a group chat going and said by the end of the year, Zane's winning some restricted micro races. And I'm like, no way.
Oh yeah. Hey, he didn't.
He was kicking ass.
He ain't winning one.
Yeah.
He's winning like 2 or 3. How many did you get this year?
I think 3.
3.
2 at Doe Run and 1 at SIR.
Yep. SIR, man.
And you win at SIR, and that's
I mean, I know
something.
there was only like 8 or so cars there, but when you watch that video, I mean, it was
I know.
awesome.
We thought we were going to be tore down. We're like, well, we're going to Texas.
Yeah.
And they didn't do it. But
I thought maybe-
we'd have been fine, but it was like, damn, they're going to
It almost looked like the restrictor plate flew out.
Practice.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was wild. I thought, man, something's wrong with that car. It's going too fast. I thought the restrictor plate fell out, or I don't even know. But I mean, that was an awesome. And the track was slick, and I mean, there was no like hammer down like everybody was thinking. You know,
It wasn't elbows up on the wall. I guess.
no. And I mean, he was just driving it like he's done it for years. And I mean, I can't wait for this season. You know, to get. Mostly if it gets running correctly, which I'm 100%. It will. Yeah. Well, one way or another, it will be running correct.
Right.
Either if we replace some stuff or do whatever, but I'm ready for this year to watch and see what we do because I think we can. And we're going to hit some big shows.
So,
Yeah.
Let's go there. Where's the first show this year, Zane?
Well, in March we're gonna go to Port City, and then we're gonna try to do all the WFO races.
Yeah. Now Port City, that's
2 weeks.
it's the big that's the big guys there, man. That's you want to be fast,
And
and you want your kid to be fast. You go to Port City.
Actually, your other 61 car won that
Yep,
race
yep,
last
that was the one that we
10,000.
talked about. Cole winning 10,000 to win there, so
Yeah, Cole won.
I think he may even get a provisional. So
Yeah. So one of the biggest micro races of the year, Jeremy's car won last year.
Yep.
That was
Congratulations.
Port City, it was pretty cool.
That is cool.
It was
Big
wild.
deal.
In a 18-foot trailer, we hauled it down there, looking like
Yeah.
nobody, and it was awesome. It was still cool, but I'm excited for this year. We got not besides Zane, we got a group of kids that we all follow around that follows our whole team, and I mean, I think all these kids they all had a learning year the last couple of years. Like Zane, he's been running for a while, but for the restrictor, I mean, that's a totally different ball game jumping in that. So we're really excited about that. I think it'll be.
Yeah.
I think this year's going to be pretty awesome, man. I think it's going to be really great. And to chase the WFO since they're running restrictors, I think that's going to put Zane, when we come home, people are going to be like, where'd he come from?
Right. that's how you get better. You run against tough competition.
Yeah,
It makes
faster guys, and I mean, makes you faster. So it's going to be pretty cool. I'm excited.
That's
And he's got a good looking fire suit.
Does he?
Oh, yeah, man. You have to check that thing out.
We haven't seen that yet. So 2 weeks.
He had it on. He had it on at Tulsa, but it didn't get dirty.
He wore it around there because it was cold in there. So, I mean, it wasn't too bad.
I guess I did see it. I was there, but I don't remember it. So
Yeah, but it'll be a good year for all of them. I think
It's
it'll
so
be.
awesome the sport has somebody like you. I want to thank you because this is a very addictive situation, and it costs a lot of money. I would have never made it without a group of people, so thank you for what you do.
Yep. No, I don't have any kids, so my dog can't drive it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Zane's the closest one. Hey, and actually, they were my neighbor. Well,
Yeah.
I've been friends with them forever. Actually, probably Jennifer before Billy,
Yeah.
because she was kind of in our group, our same age as all the people that hung out. And then I met Billy on a kind of a wild deal, but
no, we gotta
Buddy
go there.
brought him over to my.
We had
brought
a-
me over to his house.
we had a
yeah.
duplex, and it was pretty much the party plex. And we had this one buddy who would come over, and he's like, I got to bring my friends.
Did
And-
you get hammered?
You get hammered.
I never did. Your dad
Oh,
did.
he's full of crap.
I didn't do any of
Video
that.
out there.
Jeremy'd get drunk. We'd come home from the bar because he's the only one that me and him was the only two that were 21, and he'd tear the place down. That was funny.
Hey, do you
Rip the
still have
phone
the
off the
video
wall.
of you falling all over out on the driveway at the old house.
Oh God,
Oh, that was
he's my neighbor across the street. That was a golf tournament.
Oh
and-
my God! That was
okay.
it. That was.
Yeah.
that was bad. That was real
Can he
bad.
do that video?
I think so. We all dressed up. We
Red and stuff.
none of us were worth a shit at golfing, but he might have been. I wasn't, but we had like these sweaters. We all wore the same sweater.
That day drove Matt McMillan to quit drinking, didn't
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I don't think he knew what he stepped into
it?
Oh,
Right?
no.
Yeah.
because he was pretty straight laced. I mean, not straight laced, but compared to us, he was
Right.
Yeah.
straight laced.
We'd go to the shot table between every hole. We were the last. They waited like 45 minutes for our group to get done golfing.
And then we didn't even turn in the scorecard.
You know, I'm thinking, kid. You and I both. We can't even drink anymore.
Oh no, I can't. I might drink two, and I feel like crap next
I
day.
can't even
Right.
drink.
No, and I don't even really. I mean, the bad thing is I don't want to.
Already got drunk not too long ago.
Oh
Out of the mouths of babes. They keep you honest. Zane's like, no, that's not true. You were drunk a week ago.
Well, it's safe to say he came out of his shell.
Yeah, yeah,
right.
We were worried about him not talking, but
yeah. When we met, man, it got wild. I mean,
yeah. Well, one Halloween we sent Zane over to Bowyer's house and get candy, and what did he give you?
Green beans.
He just left him in the driveway, came back home.
I didn't ever pass out candy because I mean everybody's like, oh, we ain't going to that guy's single dude on the end of the road. He ain't gonna give us nothing. Well, then I turned off all my lights because I was like, nobody coming. And then I hear knocking at the door, and I'm like, man, I ain't got nothing to give. So I was looking through the cupboard, and I'm like, man, I don't like green beans. so I gave him a couple cans of green beans.
Oh my God!
He looks at me.
Hilarious.
He looks at me and he's like, what the hell is this? I said, take it back to your house.
It's the thought that counts. Here, kid. Here's some green beans.
Hey, that's like $3 nowadays.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man.
They were probably way expired. I don't even know.
It. Yeah, you know it.
I'm laughing because I can see him at that moment where he's panicking. Green beans.
Yeah, but it only escalated from there. And then once my racing kind of stopped and then I kind of got involved with all these other guys. And I was like, man, I need a car, But I didn't want to drive it. So I told Billy, I said, let's work this out. And we had Sam Coleman help with us some stuff. And it's actually one of Bella's old cars. So we just rock and roll and see what happens next year.
Which Jeremy, he'd see us out in the yard, Zane in his little yard cart making laps.
You put me in the little slide and you bust my lip open.
Oh yeah. He was in his Power Wheel. I was in the go kart, and I spun him out.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yep.
Remember those
So Zane's racing is going to be. I'm gonna drag Billy as much as I can to get to some of these big cool races. Last year they didn't get to hit a lot of them just because of school and stuff. But this summer we're gonna whatever Jennifer will allow, we're gonna try to do.
We just won't tell her.
Yeah, I'll just say, hey, we're gonna go to Doe Run and then we'll come back Sunday.
Skip some school.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zane told us the other day, he goes, I just want to be homeschooled so I can go racing all the time. I'm like, bud, that's not going to work. Me and your mom are both teachers.
Yeah.
And
Well, technically, you could homeschool him because you're teachers.
Yeah.
if he's anything like my daughter, my wife's a teacher, and those two, it's like, bulls fighting when they try to do schoolwork, homework.
Oh, yeah.
It's
That's
your own
that's
kid and listening to parents. It doesn't work usually when it comes to schoolwork.
You have to get that chicken farm a little bigger, Zane, and then you can maybe get one of them to retire.
Sell some eggs.
well, yeah.
those
Hey,
eggs.
I mean, eggs are pretty expensive. We could probably make some money now.
You ain't.
New right rear, all kinds of stuff, man.
So Zane, before I forget, you got some sponsors you want to thank for this coming year? I know that's big, and we like to forget that. So let's,
Yeah, we always forget people's sponsors, so
Booyer Cattle Company, the Kenny Wallace Show, Sammy's Holding, Cape Electric, Kevin Bell Supply, Crabtree Concrete, BLB Dirtwork, 5-2 Motorsports, Speed Shack Performance, Bandit Shocks, Expert Graphics, Acilio Racewear, LaJoy Seating, and Hyper Racing.
that's quite a list you got there, man. You're
Very
fortunate.
nice. Good job,
Man.
Zane.
Hopefully you make that car in Victory Lane a lot this year and can thank all those guys.
Well, yeah, we got to get that
What about all the
shoey.
boys back at the shop? God, Goodyear, and Gatorade.
Yep.
He said
Mountain Dew.
his first year, like winter racing, he ran Flickerwood, and he was 4.5, and maybe 5. I think he's like 4.5. But
I still learned how to hold the checkered flag.
yeah,
Everyone else would just pull off. I'd ask the flagman for the checkered.
Hell yeah.
yeah. He won the little points thing, and I talked him into at the banquet. And he said that I want to thank God, Goodyear, Gatorade, the boys back at the shop. It was funny.
Oh, Carrot Top out there in Vegas at the Luxor. I know Carrot Top, and I told him about that. I don't know where I heard that a long time ago. He put that in one of his shows, because all the NASCAR drivers, they
Yeah.
would get out and he took the air off my spoiler, spun me out. Well, give it back. Yeah.
Now that I think of it, you actually got your start before Flickerwood. You done some of those Power Wheel races at Farmington on the infield.
Oh
I
yeah.
remember those. Yeah, you remember those, Billy?
First time I had the tomato car and I went on the big
Tomato.
track.
Yeah. and then you gave that tomato to my daughter Lexi. Well, your mom did. You probably don't remember that.
No, I don't remember.
And another thing, I got a bone to pick with you. My daughter was like 6 hours old, and you're laying the kisses on her already.
All right, Zane.
Hey, Kenny ain't got no room to talk.
The Zanester.
I don't remember.
There's two guys. There's two guys, not counting myself, at this table that's kissed my daughter, and you're one of them. You want to know who the other one is?
Yeah.
It's this guy sitting next to you. You won't remember, but she was about 2 months old first time at last time you ran Farmington. We come up and say hi to you. You didn't even say hi to me. You just reached down and grabbed her and started smooching on her. So two of you guys have been kissing on my daughter. So
Well, speaking of that, you got this girlfriend at the track, or what's going on with that?
The Zanester.
Oh, all right.
You don't want to talk about it?
You want to talk about that? Okay.
Oh, boy.
I was just wondering. I just heard a rumor about it, and I wasn't really sure. So,
Girls are awesome.
yeah, you gentlemen don't talk about your girlfriends, do they?
I don't know. I was looking at his phone. They ain't been texting. I don't know. Zane's too busy on his PlayStation playing his games with his buddies.
That's what you need to keep that focus on the racing and other stuff. It'll keep you in the game.
Played World of Outlaws. I was playing World of Outlaws most of the time.
It's the world of outlaws.
I just run 80 laps in a micro.
yeah, awesome. What besides Port City next week? What WFO? What's your plans for 2025? You gonna hit Doe Run much?
I don't know. I think I'll probably try to travel more and not just go to Doe Run weekly.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Friday nights we're home. Unless we're traveling somewhere, we'll be there every Friday,
Right,
because it's right there at the house. So,
right.
Unless we got like a 2-night show on Friday and Saturday.
yeah, I don't know how many of those are, but yeah.
I think most of the WFO schedules centered Saturday nights, aren't they?
Yeah, most of them are Saturday, and if they're not, it'll be a 2-day deal, so won't be too bad. But yeah, there should be some pretty decent races for him, that's for sure.
Yeah. What what was your highlight of last year? Your biggest moment last year?
It was pretty nice when I got my first win at Doe Run, and then I came back next week and won again.
That's got to make you feel good. How many features have you won? Any clue?
I think maybe 31.
Wow.
Whoa.
You're about to pass Dad already.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
You think you're close to passing me?
Oh, yeah, I'll pass you.
Oh, you'll
Nah,
pass.
I'll pass you.
Win hundreds of races to beat Billy the Kid.
I can remember one year at Farmington, your dad probably won about 30 features in one year, it seems like. Man, that was in one of those impressive cars.
04 was the most I won in
What
one year, I
was
believe.
it? Had to be over 10.
Yeah, I think back then we'd win quite a bit, but I think we were traveling so much, I'd miss nights and still win the championship.
Such a good driver. I watched Billy one night at Farmington, and I was on that back straightaway, and I watched how he set his car in turn one. I've always said that Billy's one of the most underrated dirt racers of our time. Incredible talent. I mean it. I mean, like, worldwide. Like, when you look at Billy, he looks like an old country guy, but he gets in that damn thing. I put him in my car up against 130 cars at the biggest modified race in America, which was Volusia. And I said, I got to do a TV show tonight, kid. I said, just drive my car. Quick time! And I mean, the whole garage area stopped. But Billy had built up a following of a lot of friends, whether it was, shock people or just racing people. Everybody went to Billy to talk chassis, and then he got in that car and just stunned everybody. Then he went to Ocala, and one of our old sponsors said, "Get in my car, kid." Kind of thought it was funny. And Billy went up against all the greatest modified racers in the world and came within 2 spots of winning it all. And I've always said that it's a shame. Billy's okay with it because he's a different breed, but Billy's one of the greatest talents of all time. And it's amazing because you look at him, he's just this little skinny guy, but he gets in there and he drives like a brute, He's so good. And he don't want to race anymore. He plays around with racing now because of Zane, but I've always thought, in Billy always says, "You put too much pressure on me, telling everybody how great I am." I said, "Damn, man, you're incredible." But I just wanted to make sure everybody understood how good he was. It don't no matter where you're born. There's this kid out of Farmington, Missouri, or wherever he likes to be. It changes by the week. I'm like, "Where are you from now, Billy?" "I'm from Park Hills." "Is that close to Farmington?" "Yeah." "This week I'm from Doe Run." I'm like, "What house you living in now, kid?" "Where are you from now, Billy?"
Bonne Terre. We're in Bonne Terre now.
I left that one out.
Yeah. We moved a few times for a little while there, but
So where do you like to be from?
well, I was born and raised, and I call it Flat River, but it was changed to Park Hills years later. But
So we got let's have a little comedy here. Your Farmington, your Flat River, your Bonne Terre, your Park Hills. Which other one am I leaving out?
that's it.
I think it's
Four. You're from
Doe Run.
four
I never
towns.
lived in Doe Run.
yeah.
But Billy,
Yeah.
you're the love of my life. But it is a comedy
Yeah.
because you always make a big deal out of towns.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all pretty close to each other, but
I remember the night at Volusia when he jumped in your car,
Yeah.
and how just all of us from this area was going nuts because, Billy jumped in a car at a half mile he'd never been on, and was awesome.
It was unbelievable.
it was pretty cool. Yeah,
Well, I know the last couple of shows we've talked about, the goats of our area.
Yeah.
And, we talked Timmy Montgomery. I mean, some people may not agree with my opinion, but, you got Timmy Montgomery, and, we always talk about Brent and stuff like that. And then, I mean, Billy was
Billy's
with
right
Brent,
there.
with them. And, I mean, all those guys. So, I mean,
Yeah, but Billy drove junk stuff. He
Hey.
listen, I bullshit things. Billy would make chicken salad out of chicken shit. I saw the stuff he won with. And come on. I mean, of course, when you get out of the car, they're not going to go, "Ladies and gentlemen, his front clip's bent, but he still won the race." People don't care about that, but the racers know. That's why Brent Thompson admires Billy so much, because he knows how good Billy is.
The thing I get most nervous about is going down that Tulsa shootout hill.
the random Zane.
where'd that come from?
He like me. It's like, what are we talking about?
He just wanted to talk.
I'm not nervous at all, but then when I go down that ramp, it's like so nervous. Like, you're gonna wreck or you're gonna flip.
Well, you've done it now, so
You
next
just didn't
year-
make any laps.
Yeah, it will be good now. Now, when we go to port, it'll be going up the ramp. Theirs is kind of uphill. It's a little more tricky, but
backwards.
be same kids down there, so it'll be okay.
I know where he's coming from. Just pushing him down that ramp, I was nervous as hell.
I bet.
Oh yeah.
That's just inside racing. That's a different feel, different animal. Just the feel of that, the vibe of that place, just unmatchable, really. So
Yeah, it's when I guess Chili Bowl's kind of the same way, but when you drove Loyette's at the Chili Bowl, did you Did you kind of feel a little nervous?
Absolutely. Very nervous. Very nervous. I was out of my element. Actually, Sammy Swindell looked at me. Sammy Swindell looked at me and goes, "You don't got any business being here." I was like, okay. And I always knew Sammy was, rough around the edges, but I admire him. But he was right. And the only reason I was there was because Tony Stewart stopped by my house. And in front of my wife, when I was living in North Carolina, Tony stopped. Tony Stewart wanted to buy my house and shop, and he was looking at it. And we sat down, and he looked at Kim. He looked at me. He goes, he says, you're winning all these modified races. You've won some late model races. And he said, but you're not a real dirt racer until you go to the Chili Bowl. And my wife's nose started flaring up because, they flip those cars. And my wife, she didn't understand that that's common. Like we spin out and open wheel midgets, they flip.
Yeah.
But at the time, Billy, we associate flipping with death and violence.
Yeah.
But in the midget world, you just flip it, tip it over, and go back. But Kim didn't know that.
Yeah.
Boy, she got mad at Tony. You will not get my husband hurt. So the only reason I went to the Chili Bowl, it was and everybody knew that was documented. And so then Brad Loyette's called me up. They wanted me to help make Brad more popular because of my popularity. And I said, okay, let's have fun. So when I got there, I didn't have any business being there, but I agree with you, Zane. When it was all done, I said, hey, I know how to roll down the hill now. I know how to turn the ignition on, turn the fuel on, and get her going. So I'm glad I did it.
Yeah, it made me talking about nervousness and stuff, and it reminds me of a story of me and you out on the road. We were at East Bay.
Oh, never forget it.
Yeah, I knew you'd know. You're lined up, Kenny's lined up front row of the feature. And
100 cars. Let's be honest, on one,
yes,
100,
yeah.
over 100
and they were the
race
best.
cars.
I mean, this one, Jared Landers was badass in the modifieds. And I think Landers was beside you. There's 2 or 3 hot rods behind you, and you're like, oh, geez, man, these guys are all around me. I looked at you, and I said, you're Kenny motherfucking Wallace. You pushed Earnhardt to his last win. Go out there and win this bitch.
And I tell that story. You put me at such ease. And sure enough, you were right. They dropped that green flag. I just did my deal. And Jared Landers is up there just driving like he always does. Very aggressive racer. Just tearing the cushion down. And about lap 8, he went over the cushion. I went on, and we won.
Yep, we won. Yep.
It was a big win.
Yep.
I just stayed about 2 foot off the cushion.
Yep.
He was with his right rear in it.
Yeah.
And he finally, in
I
turn
think
3,
he couldn't get by you, so he just overdrive, and he was getting desperate, I think.
he just went up. He just peeled himself over the cushion.
Yeah. I always remember that race, so that was cool.
Oh, you helped me so much. Yeah.
When at the Chili Bowl, when Sammy came up to you, did you say, hey, what was your name again?
I wanted to go fuck himself. I really did. I wanted to go, Sammy, go fuck yourself. He obviously, I'm not there's, I'll never forget what Tony Stewart said. We were in the media center, and Tony said, I didn't know that there was 300 open wheel midgets in all of America. and I kind of investigated that afterwards. And open wheel midgets are so rare. There just aren't any of them. And he's right. And at the moment I thought, what is he talking about? Well, then when I started understanding it, there's just not, they're so expensive. My God, the motors are $4,000. So there's really no open wheel midgets, technically speaking, for the whole America, compared to thousands and thousands of open wheel modifieds,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But to end that,
I think Keith Coons owns half the ones that race on a weekly deal anyway. But
well, just quickly,
yeah.
How many open wheel midgets do you think there are in all of America?
On 30, 40, maybe. And
Yeah,
that's 2 series.
There's not a whole lot that run.
Yeah, there ain't.
Yeah.
If that, probably not even that. Is
So
it?
they're kind of like the Indianapolis 500. They
Yeah.
have their time to shine.
Yeah.
And then when the summer gets going, we return to our regular program.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's quite a few out in California, and a lot of those guys come out, but centrally based here in mid-America, if there's 50, I'm shocked. But
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
and then 300 and some odd show up at what they have this year, 360.
Yeah. 360 something.
Yeah, so when I definitely did not belong to be there, but I kind of thought me going there that, Sammy was, Sammy's cooler now, right? Because he's playing the guitar with Flea. And we're seeing a side of Sammy in his older age that is much calmer. But Kenny Wallace is coming to the Chili Bowl. Let's not get too serious, everybody. We're just having fun, So yeah.
I remember when you run the Chili Bowl, I was pretty good friends with Brad at the time. And
Did you get to run it when he had the group with like Hockett and all them, or was that later?
before.
that was
Wasn't it?
later.
It was later.
That was before.
Yeah, I think Hockett had done past when Kenny
Okay.
drove.
Yeah, I wasn't sure, but that'd have been a cool story to have
Right.
in your pocket, man.
Badass.
Yeah, he was all.
Brad's just right here. Brad's just right around the corner. The whole family's a dear friend of mine. The dad Joe his people cut my grass. The Loyettes are very wealthy people. They're landscaping business.
And they're good
Loyette
people.
Landscaping.
Their family's good people. I raced micros. That's when I started racing micros. They were starting, and man, they're always good to us. Always talk to us. You would never know. Too much. And like when you go up to his shop now, Brad's out there greasy.
Right.
It's pretty
so
cool.
smart.
Yes.
Brad Loyette is one of the smartest. He's that new young generation operating these $1 million machinery, and he's got great accounts. The kid, Brad, is a man now, married with a child. But Brad, the race car driver, he don't race anymore. But when I go up there, I just stare at the machinery, and I stare at him. Those $500 million pieces of machinery come in, and he's, making pieces for the government and things like that. And Joe did a good job of raising him.
Yeah, they're good people. We took he fixed Zane's car, and went up there, and he showed us everything and gave us a tour and said, "Hey, we're making this for the Air Force, and we're making this for Maxim chassis, and we're making this." And we left, and we were like, "Holy cow, man, that's wild!"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brad's come a long way. I remember years ago when he had that, when he was still racing, he didn't know how to run any of that machine. He had guys working for him and done all that. He's self-taught himself.
Yeah.
And he was one that I wish he was still able to drive because
Yeah, I liked him. I liked watching him
a fun
too.
driver. About once a year, he'll message me, "You think I can come out of retirement and come down to Farmington and win?" I'm like, "Yep."
Yep.
He's like, I want to do it I'd like Charlie to see me race one time. But I know it hurts his hands and wrists anytime he gets back in the car. So don't know that it'll ever happen. But
Yeah, I think our machine and tool guy, I got him kind of hooked up with the talk to Brad. I think they're going to take their students up there and tour Brad's place, I believe.
cool. Yeah.
Different subject, but in the same category, okay? It amazes me to this day. You have Grandparents' Day, and I go down to Windsor or whatever it is to see my grandbabies. And it just kind of brought me up to date. Those kids are 5 years old on full-blown computers.
Yeah.
So, these kids that are 30 now, they just know how to operate all that stuff.
Yeah. Well, it was like, I don't know, it's a couple months ago. Jennifer wanted to FaceTime her brother and both her sisters at the same time. She said, "I don't know how to do this." Zane did. He got on her phone and called everybody. Because he'll get on his video game. He'll have his headset on. And then all his buddies that don't, he'll have like 4 or 5 kids on his phone, and they're all talking to each other and playing that Fortnite crap. And
I learned that, and Billy had hit me like a ton of bricks. This is 6 months ago. I go down to one of those schools, and I looked at it, and I'm like, oh my God, I had no idea that these 5-year-old kids, they're in the classroom, and every one of them's got a computer in front of them.
yeah.
Did you go to computer school? In school, do you have computers?
Oh, yeah, we have to do the computers a lot.
Yeah.
But we do paper still.
We got a pencil,
We do paper. I love that. Keep talking.
And
Must be something random, probably.
Yep. It's like, hey, I had steak last night.
So I didn't know that. So in grade school, Like you guys are just on computers all the time.
Like when we do our test, it's like this Savas thing, and we have to do like a test on it. There's like some questions, and then we do math for it.
Yeah. So the bottom line is these kids come along. That's just
Oh yeah.
they know what to do.
Yeah. How's those grades? You get good grades? Okay,
Doing better this.
What was last year? What
semester.
was that one course last year?
Oh, that was earlier this year.
Oh, was it?
ELA, yeah.
Yeah.
He was almost failing, but this semester he's
Got like a B.
B plus or
There
A
you
minus,
go.
So he's doing a lot better right now. I've been on him.
Yeah, I know. Remember
Mom
when
has.
we was kids, our parents didn't know our grade until the report card come out. Now
Right.
you can pull up your phone and look at every assignment, what their grades are.
Oh, every day at school, and I'm doing my attendance with my students. It'll pop up there in the screen red, and I'll click on there, and I got every day when they post something on him, I know it, so you're not going to get
Man.
one on me.
Yeah, that's
I'd be screwed.
yeah. Times have changed.
Oh my God, I went to Rome, or I went to Europe, and one thing I realized is old, it's 2,000 years old. It's so old. And those buildings like the Colosseum, 1,975 years old. But buddy, they got cameras bolted to all those old buildings. You can't fart. Oh, he farted. I mean, and this is just a great conversation. There are cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
And when I was over there, I mean, you'd be following your little GPS because you walk everywhere, and it's like there'd be this little 3-foot opening. Make a right here, and you make a right there, and you would think you're just an ancient hallway, like this hallway. So there's a camera, So your dad's saying you're not going to do anything without him knowing. He knows everything about you. Did you know that?
Yeah. Hey, do we need to tell some stories on your dad on, what his mom and dad knew about him when he was your age?
I don't think they knew much.
I don't think that. Well, I
I
don't
don't
know.
think they remember that much.
A lot of it happened at their house, so.
Yeah, but Van was usually with us.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
True.
Oh, I got to tell you a quick story about that. So I'm down at Volusia, and I'm staying at Rusty's house, and he says, "Herman, ride my motorcycle." So I take his motorcycle out, and I come in and I go eat. It's awesome, and I roll up his garage door. Rusty's stuff is like the best, and all of a sudden I hear him, "Hey, buddy." I'm looking around like, what the heck? He's talking to me through that little camera.
Yeah.
So later on, he admits whenever his garage door opens up, he gets a notification on his phone. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to go to the bathroom. I wonder if there's a camera here in the bathroom.
So you're going down to Volusia back again for Bike Week, right? Or is that Daytona, isn't it, Bike Week?
Yeah, it's kind of like Farmington. It's all right there together. Volusia is 20 minutes from Ormond Beach. Ormond Beach is 10 minutes from Daytona. But boy, they it's like the Macon County line. I'd say I'm in Daytona, and the next day, Craig Rivard, he said, this is Ormond Beach. I'm like, okay. See, we're headed down there in about a week and a half.
So do you ride a lot of bikes while you're down there?
Yeah, I ride a lot. So I got my own bike. It's all carbon fiber. Got lucky with that one. The guy, Johnny Adams, that owns Featherlight Motorhomes, he wanted to sell the bike. He wanted Steven to make him, they call them builds. You can call it just a motorcycle, but
right.
they create these one-off bikes. Like there's no other bike like this.
Right.
So like Steven's like, Uncle Kenny, you can get a new bike. Well, not a new bike, 2019, and this thing. I'm like, how did I end up with this? But I bought it. I paid good money for it, but I mean, it's all carbon fiber. It's like 114 pounds lighter, carbon fiber. The only thing that's not carbon fiber is a gas tank, but they're making them now, testing them. And Rusty took my bike, down here to Lake Ozark. Southern Country Custom went to Lake Ozark.
Yeah.
Well, Clint Boyer's got a house down there. So Rusty was riding my bike, and he calls me up. He goes, "Man, your bike is awesome." I said, "I told you." But now we just we go on the Kyle Petty charity ride now, and I got a trike. My wife said, if you buy a trike, I'll ride with you. So, you know, if you want your sweetie to ride with you, you buy a trike. So they just custom that one up. So I got 2 motorcycles, a trike and then my own, you know, hot rod.
I was going to say, if she was nervous about the midget,
Right.
she had to be nervous
Right.
about the motorcycle.
Yeah, you know, maturity sets in. It's no different than me and Billy being older. And, you know, anybody getting older. When you get older, and you're going to ride your sweetie. I mean, bikes are okay, but you got to be in tune with each other.
Yeah.
Kim's never wore a helmet. We went to get her all fixed up. She goes, "Oh my God, I've never put a helmet on." And I looked at her like, "What?" So, you know, just getting Kim on a motorcycle with me is crazy. So I'm looking forward to that.
Will this be the first time this year when you go down that she's been on with you?
Yeah, we got a picture. We test rode the trike already, and she was happy. And so I'm going to Bike Week with my own bike, but they're putting my trike on display because now Southern Country Customs realizes that, you know, people ride trikes
Yeah.
when you get older.
Right.
That's probably what I'd have to do.
So me and Kim Schrader, Kenny Schrader and Ann Schrader, and a couple other groups down towards you guys, we're going to get on these trikes and head up to Traverse, Michigan in early May, and then we're going to get on the Kyle Petty charity ride. We're going to go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Where else are we going to go to? Henry Ford Museum, then Niagara Falls. That Kyle Petty charity ride's about people. It's fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like it'd be pretty
So
awesome.
you're going to be on the bike from here, drive all the way up?
Yeah, it's an incredible deal.
That's
I'm
awesome.
like you. I'm like, what? And then I started doing it, and he's like, oh, it's cool.
That would be wild.
Yeah, you dress appropriately,
Yeah.
and trike's good. It's got a good shield in front of you.
What are we going to do if it rains? Tough it out?
We got rain gear.
All right.
Yeah.
I
It's
rode
just-
in the hail.
Oh.
You wouldn't have believed the story last year. It was nuts. But yeah, it's crazy. They call it gator wear. What you do is you're wearing your wear. You're wearing what you wear, right? And then all you do is go up here to the Harley Davidson or down towards you guys, and you go in there, and they got these pants you put on and this jacket you put on, and then these shoes, I think they're called the gators. These go over your shoes, and everything velcros. And oh my God, it could be pouring down rain, and you stop, pull over, you take all that off, and you're totally dry.
Wow.
Oh yeah, that's just like we do it for fishing, and that's crazy. You could be in the pouring rain, like he said. I mean, pouring all over you, and you take it off.
You're dry.
Nothing.
So I don't know why this conversation's bringing up in my memory the cold water challenge.
Oh yeah.
So years ago we had this cold water challenge, and I don't remember what started, how we all called each other out.
I didn't have rain gear on for that.
Well, this guy decides. I wish we still had the video. Me,
It was
Billy,
me laughing the whole time.
Oh man, Billy laughing like a hyena. That's what I.
Oh yeah.
It was his turn to do it.
So cold water challenge was, you had to jump in water or donate money.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he decides to go through the automatic car wash in the middle of February.
Whose truck were we in?
We were in my-
his truck, and he got in the back of it,
Yeah.
had a helmet on. And
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So we get out to go through the automatic car wash, and just as we was getting out, what was an ambulance drove by?
An ambulance and a cop drove by.
So we were like, oh wait, we gotta stop. So he gets in the bed of my truck, and me and Billy's in the front seat.
Here's the bad thing. We actually stopped and asked the guy.
Right.
Which, you know what?
It was something with
That might have been your dad.
Yes. Yeah, it was. I remember. Yeah, it was
Stopped
Rich.
and
Yeah.
asked. I said, "Hey man, I want to tell you what we're getting ready to do, but I know you're going to tell us not to, but we're going to do it anyway. So I thought we'd ask permission. But I'm going to jump in the back of this truck with a helmet on and run through this automatic car wash." And he's like, "Okay." And he goes, "Don't go through the one with the whips."
Right. Yeah.
He goes, "Go through the one that just sprays." And I'm like, "Well, I didn't plan on it." He goes, "It'll suck you up in those whips." In those.
He goes, I don't want to be here to see this.
Yeah, so
I'm
he
leaving.
left. I got in the back of that thing, and we drove through there. And at first, I was like, "This ain't bad because it's a little warmer." Yeah. Well, then after the rinse is rough. It beat me up.
I remember we go through, and Billy's laugh. It was the best part.
yeah.
I'm sitting there, and Billy's recording, and we go through, and we get out to check on Jeremy. And he's just kind of like, I thought he was hurt because he wasn't moving.
It was freezing.
He's like in fetal position.
Yeah.
I guess when you go through the car wash, the very beginning of it is super warm.
Right.
So I was like, man, this is nice. But it was hurting a little. But then after the suds come on and then the rinse come on, it was super cold. And then it was extreme. And it just felt like
Silly.
it was nuts. But we need to find that video
Yes.
Yeah.
and post it on here.
It's on your old Facebook. It got hacked.
Oh yeah, it got hacked. That guy's doing crypto and selling cars to all my buddies right now.
He's probably making money on that video.
Oh my God, yeah.
So much scamming going on right now.
no.
I mean, even my email.
Yep.
They send you fake bills. You just got to get.
I get text messages and stuff. Even
That's-
his phone
Hey,
gets
that's
text
funny you guys said that because when we sorry, Zane, go ahead.
Remember Risa Tisa?
Yes.
What do you say?
Risa
Risa Tisa when the Don't Run Facebook
hacked.
page got hacked.
You got to be careful with your emails. I mean,
Yeah.
I realize it. I just don't. Any email I got, if you want me to buy something, pay something, send me a bill.
Yep.
It like a paper bill.
when
I just erase
we
it.
posted about this podcast, or Jeremy put on there about this podcast, and you commented on there, I got 2 friend requests from Kelly with a Y Wallace and Kelly with an IE with your picture on it. And I didn't accept it for a while. And I was like, I know this is all fake because they have no friends, no nothing. And it was gone within an hour.
Yeah.
And I was like, just after that post.
Every time we talk about Chili Bowl, the Dome deal, me, you, and him would all get Facebook friend requests from
Yeah, the dome was bad.
Gateway Dirt Nationals, Chili Bowl Nationals.
Yep. And it was some, I don't remember half the guy's name.
Right.
Izzy Habula or something.
They're all
weird.
from India.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah.
They're from somewhere over
Yeah.
there. I got friends. We know friends, Austin, but every one of them, they're all from India, and they're very serious. They black their faces out and they get on video with you because Austin showed me. And my friend, this is only business. Give me $300. I give you everything back. To us, it's like they're the scum of the earth, but to them, it's what they do for a living.
I guess it's their job.
Amazing concept.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like they steal from you.
Legally, kind
If you
of.
do that over in Japan, they cut your hands off. You get in India, it's like, no, that's what we do for a living.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa.
I used to get them phone calls and I'd answer and I'd act stupid, And then one guy, I finally asked him, I said, do you sleep at night? And he goes, knowing you're going to screw some old person over, And he goes, oh yeah, it doesn't bother me. Hey, I had a conversation with him. I'm like, all right.
Well, that's what's bad. It's half of the, like I'll see my dad share something every once in a while or somebody else. And you're like, you just shared, Kid Rock's post that he just sent you a message and said, hey buddy, let's hang out.
Yeah.
Come on.
know,
he's not coming.
Kid Rock knows me.
My mom does the same thing all the time. And, well, that's if you can understand what she writes.
We need,
Mom.
we need, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We got to get.
One time we were at Facebook, and then she had this, picture of her dog, and it didn't there wasn't one word that made sense.
Oh, she's gonna be mad at us.
I know a
It's
ton
funny.
of people won't. I mean, we got some pretty good followers, but if you should follow Sue Smith. She's fun, man.
I'm pretty sure she posts when she's like eating a sandwich. but- Sorry, Mom.
Yeah, sorry.
I used to post when I'd get more likes. I'd make a video when I was in a porta potty pooping, and they loved it.
No,
Wallace pooping.
500 likes.
It's like so embarrassing.
500? You mean 500,000?
Yeah, well, you look at it and be like, I can't believe how many people like me pooping.
Poop is the most amazing thing in life. People laugh at it, because everybody poops and everybody's embarrassed to talk about it. But I mean, you just make one post about poop, and I mean, everybody's laughing. Billy knows it's true.
Oh,
Look at
yeah, it is. Yeah.
I'm going to have to post because I just went to the doctor on Thursday and they're like, hey, you're 45. It's colonoscopy time. And I said, whoa. Well, they said, well, we got this new thing where you can poop in this box. We send it to your house, and I already got the email. It's already come in 3 days. You poop in this box, they send it, and I guess they test or whatever. And, I work out in all these, high voltage yards and stuff. A lot of times they're in the bathroom. I'm like, shoot, poop in a box. I do that anyway.
It's a Saturday night. Like
said,
taking a box.
Dude, that's awesome. Because I just turned 44, and I'm like, it ain't gonna be long. I'm gonna have to do that.
Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome.
I was like, I told my doctor, I said, I do that every other week. I said, that's crazy. And I said, this is for real? And she goes, yeah. And I don't remember what it's called, Cologuard or something like that. But that's a new deal where they do that.
It's very important. I'm old. John, listen, on a very serious note, a message to everybody. Ann Schrader, Kenny Schrader's wife, she said that she feels like we could have saved John Andretti's life, but he never got a colonoscopy.
I'm nervous.
Men's health is so important because here's the problem with men, and I ran across this with Toby.
Yeah.
And a lot of people in Farmington, down there, men are men. Down there where you guys are, men are men, man. And, we're tough. And they'll just let themselves die. With Toby, I would be on Toby's butt. I would take Toby. I'd say, Toby, get in my pickup truck. And we'd go, and I said, I'm buying you compression socks. And I asked Billy that one day. I said, Billy, what is the deal with Farmington? But I just think men are so tough down there. But you really got to take men's health very important because you can save your life easily.
Yeah, I had mine, I don't know, a few years ago. It isn't that bad.
Yeah, that's what.
You lose weight.
Yeah.
It cleans you out, that's for sure. Don't trust a fart.
Your asshole burns when you're done. In our old,
Well, you only get 2 years. So if you poop in the box, if you go with the poop in the box, then I think she said.
This is great. I've never heard of this.
That's right.
There's a song. Poop in the box.
Wait,
But
how
you
would
get
you
2
like?
years. 2 years, and then they'll test it again, and you either poop in a box again or you go get a colostomy. I think I'm just going to roll with the poop in the
I'm
box.
just gonna
the first
poop in the
time.
box.
Well, then the second time I'm going to go ahead and get it done because I think
Zane is like
you should.
tuned totally out right now.
Like,
You don't got to worry about this for 40
you gotta
years.
go home, Mom.
All they
Poop
talk
in a
about
box.
is shit.
We talk about poop in a box. How would you like to be the person that has to open that poop in the box?
That's a job.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
That's somebody's job.
What do you think they make a year?
Not much.
Not enough.
This is
Here's
like,
what I told. I was talking. I was like, I don't have. This is getting weird. But I mean, what if like you eat something bad and the first time and you just blow diarrhea through the box? I mean,
This is a great conversation. I got some plumbing friends, and what a nasty job. They are heroes because I got a friend named Steve Mahoney. When we was kids, he's like, Herm, go on a call with me. I'm like, okay. We go in somebody's basement here in Jefferson County, and their shitter's clogged up, and we're in the basement. You know, Billy, how the big 5-6 inch PVCs are in everybody's basement, and they got that thing you open up.
oh, yeah.
And I mean, poop come flowing out. And he was just serious. Plumbers do not make fun of poop or pee. We're like children. We're like, ah! And they're very serious because, once you realize everybody poops and pees, I don't poop, But, plumbers are like the greatest. We need them.
I can't say nothing because I'll stay up sometimes at night and watch all my reels, and I watch those guys open up those septic tanks and
Oh, I love those.
smoothie.
Yeah.
He calls it a poop smoothie.
Yeah,
and
the poop
he'll
smoothie,
run
yeah.
the thing. I'll just get watching it, and I'm like, "This is," and he's like, he'll do that and be like, "Smells like money."
I've done it with Steve Mahoney. We over there, Lower Arnold, Starling Airport Road. We went over there and we dug up one and lit like a 6-inch, one of those concrete lids. You peel it off, and you're just not ready for this. It's like, what am I doing?
What happened here?
Yeah, those guys definitely don't make enough money. That's
Oh,
Zane, what are you going to go home and tell your mom?
he wants a poop smoothie. He wants to watch poop smoothie videos.
So we'll go back to Zane's racing career a little bit. Zane, what's your favorite drink? Go-to drink before a race?
Sweet tea for sweet daddy.
I love it.
Do you have a favorite go-to food?
Dog food.
Oh no.
What's your favorite food?
Macaroni and cheese. All kids eat macaroni and cheese. Hot dogs. Chicken nuggets. Ranch dressing.
Chick-fil-A,
Did I name all your
I
favorite?
like Raising Cane's.
Raising Cane. Well, we don't have any of those around here.
Yeah, I know, man.
We need to get one in Farmington.
Yep.
Don't we?
I like, wait, let me think.
You like Raising Cane's because of Tony Breidinger. You know who she is? Tony Breidinger. She's a racer, and she's sponsored by Raising Cane's. Or no, mate, no, is it not Raising? Is it Raising
Yeah,
Cane's?
yeah.
Yeah, she does. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I interviewed her. I had her on Kenny Conversation. Yeah, she's a good racer.
I tell you, some that Kyle Larson interview, I can't get enough of that interview with Kyle Larson you
Yeah.
did with him.
Thanks.
I've watched that one several times. That's one of my favorite ones.
Those guys got to want to do it, you know, and I study hard, you know. When I do those Kenny Conversations, who's we? Got a mouse in your pocket? It's me. Charlie, he tapes them. I call all these people and I ask them, and it doesn't work unless they want to do it. And Kyle and Brad Sweet are very good to me. Where'd they have me, Billy? I went out to Chico
Yeah.
for the high limit race.
Yeah.
They hired me to come out there, and those open wheel guys are really good to me. But you know, I respect them. You got to know the right things to ask, and as we call it, the new thing, bullshit things. You know, because we're down around Jefferson County here. We're like, man, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you about Larson. I'm like, hold on, let's ask him. What? Some people would rather just talk shit forever because it's funner. You know, it's like this is funny. You know, you guys have heard of the Alcatraz prison, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. You know, the Birdman, they're like, oh, this guy in the old Alcatraz prison, he had all these birds. They call him the Birdman. When you get down to it, he's like he had one bird. So don't ever stop. Don't ever stop a good exaggerated racing story by finding out the truth. So thank you for that. But that is what's good about Kenny Conversation.
Yeah.
You can ask Kyle, how much money you make? You know, do you guys make no money? It was good. He answered all that.
Yeah. It's good somebody like him to open up, but it takes somebody like you that's been in his shoes and experience the things that he's done as well.
Yeah, I learned a lot.
Yeah.
I learned a lot doing those. I mean, interviewing John Force and Tony Stewart and Danica Patrick and Dale Jr. I mean, you're dealing with the greatest race car drivers in America. I mean, I interviewed Michael Andretti. I mean, you know, just let's start interviewing him. You know, I got to be on my game.
Right.
Those are very nerve-wracking situations.
I can only imagine. I know I was nervous coming in today, and I even
Yeah, I
to
know.
an extent, you know, like
yeah, this ain't nothing.
but it's still like this is the biggest thing we've ever done, and it's like, man,
Yeah.
we're interviewing Kenny Wallace,
Oh.
and then he's here name dropping all these, and I'm like, God,
Hey, I'll tell you what,
I couldn't imagine.
I was studying, getting ready for Amy Earnhardt, you know, Dale Jr.'s wife, and she was nervous, and she texted me. She says, "Is there anything I need to know?" I said, "I'll send you my notes." So I sent her my notes because I got a little technique that I do, and I put it all in my notes section, and I send it to Amy, and Amy sends back. She goes, "Oh my gosh. Are you the CIA?" I mean, I knew what school she went to, and she was a cheerleader, and, you know. And I do that stuff with Jamie Little, and you know, all the ladies, and we interview a lot of ladies, you know, because you know on the TV side you got to, you know. I mean, all I'm saying is I've learned a lot. Yeah.
Right.
A lot of the ladies too, they get views.
Oh, I told my wife, I said, honey, I'm going to be straight up with you. You are the love of my life. There's nobody better than you. I love you more than anything in the world, but get thick skin because we're going to interview a lot of ladies because those men are perverts, man. I mean, this is the truth. I'm going to tell you something accurate. I'm very serious when I say this. Last year, William Byron, won the Daytona 500. So Peyton Taylor has me down at Clash on the Coast. So I'm running the Clash on the Coast down at Pensacola, you know. Well, I got William Byron. I took my computer down there and we got it all set up. And I interview the Daytona 500 winner, William Byron. 24,000 views. Now I'm going to interview Taylor Cool, runs a modified in Iowa. Immediately 47,000 views. Men are perverts. Right. And of course I told Bill, you know, it's all about the thumbnail. I said, Charlie, you get the sexiest thumbnail you can find. Them guys, they're perverts, man. They're gonna click. They're not gonna click on the Daytona 500 winner,
Right.
But they're gonna click on that Taylor Cool.
Yeah.
So, but they are interesting, and she is good. I watched her race at Volusia. She can flat drive a race car. She's probably the best lady racer I've ever seen.
Yeah.
She run like second or third in a feature.
Yeah.
And I mean, outrun Matt Crafton every night. And she won Boone. She qualified for the A main at Boone.
Yeah.
Over hundreds of cars. So, but we don't talk to girls that, I mean, they've got to done something, right?
Yeah.
We interview all the girls that have done something.
Right.
That's like Haley Deegan. She's just got to be making a killing because everybody's clicking on everything she posts. She posts something about her dog. Right. Bam, 200,000.
She does it for a living.
Oh, yeah.
That's like these girls that are on this. What's this thing where they're naked and everything? What's it called?
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans.
Or Feet Finder.
If you were a girl, I mean, these people are making men are crazy.
Yep.
I'm telling you, men are crazy. It's crazy. That porn industry is so big. I mean, all you gotta do is get naked, and they give you like thousands of dollars.
Yep.
And it's on a screen. You can't.
Yeah. Right.
So these girls. I mean, Danica Patrick. All these girls, they're not dummies.
Oh no.
Beautiful.
Yep.
We act like they're ugly when they're beautiful.
And all they gotta do is post one. They're going to the beach. Boom,
Yeah.
Boom.
And the guys
over.
click on it.
Yeah.
It's over.
Like they're gonna see her naked.
Yeah. Ain't
Idiot.
happening. I wish there was a dude version of that.
There probably is. Just
Yeah,
a
but
smaller market.
there's probably like 7 women that are on it.
But
Oh no, they're not women. They're other guys.
Yeah.
But the one thing about Haley Deegan though, she really is good. I mean, she really is good. I mean, she ran the Winston West series. We've all watched the videos. She, they knocked her out of the way. She knocked her out of the way. She won a Winston West NASCAR race.
She's got to be a marketing just god for somebody. Like I don't know why she hadn't, or well, you might be able to answer why NASCAR hadn't picked her up, or somebody picked her up. Just she's got to be able to bring.
I said this, and I'm consistent in my verbiage. I interviewed Brian Deegan, her dad. He started the X Games. Him, Jamie Little. I know so much about that world now. The thing with Haley and any lady in NASCAR, no matter what anybody wants to say, NASCAR, the guys are not ready for a lady racer. Listen, I just look. It's funny because I see it, and then people act like it didn't happen. I watched more guys wreck Haley Deegan. I mean, just flat wreck her ass. I'm like, oh my God, and they don't do nothing to them. If you go down the back straightaway at Vegas and they turn left into her quarter panel, I'm like, what in the hell did I just watch? NASCAR men are not ready for a lady racer. Now they'll give a guy a break because they'll get their ass beat. They'll fight in between the trailers.
Yeah.
But, how dare a girl beat me because my buddies are going to tease me.
I just think there's so much money for somebody to be made, or something to be made for her to be in there.
And they're held to a higher standard. If a girl doesn't run good, you're a girl. See, you don't run good. It's like, Jesus,
you don't belong
just let her
here.
race. And I mean, I raced Danica Patrick up there in where the hell was it? Canada. And I drove my ass off for like 2 laps. I looked up and she's all over me. I finally let her go. She's wearing me out.
What's cool about her, or Haley Deegan, she actually will show up at a good handful of micro races, and these kids just love it, man. They eat it up, and
Drives her ass off.
She'll talk to all these kids, and even her, I guess, soon-to-be husband. He shows up at a lot more of them because he's good.
He's a good racer.
He is. He can drive a micro, that's for sure. And I know he went into a little bit of the other stuff. I haven't followed him that much, but when he shows up, he's a dude to beat because he's good. But yeah, it's pretty cool that when they show up and all these kids, they go crazy over him, and she don't bat an eye, And she'll show up Southern Illinois, middle of nowhere,
Right.
and I mean, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, she's the real deal. I think that's why she's so famous, because I experienced this a lot in my dirt racing career. Billy, would put together my car for me. I'm living in North Carolina, and you get the rednecks. Hey, Wallace, bring your shit down here to Alabama, and you'd go down there and we'd win. And Billy can tell you right now, the hecklers, their jaws are dropped because they see me on social media and they don't think I'm real. And then we show up at their racetrack and we kick their ass. You've seen it, Billy.
Well,
And then when they see that I'm real, they're like they're shocked. Yeah. And I think that's the same thing with Haley Deegan.
Yeah.
They like, oh, that Haley Deegan, and then she puts that bitch up on the high side, and they're like, holy crap.
She can drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just said it.
Yeah,
You just said it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I went through that,
And I think Billy even experienced a lot of that when you started helping Kenny, and you're running Farmington and you'd show up with a Toyota, and there was a lot of heckling of you too.
oh yeah. Kenny told me when I ran that motor, you better get thick skin.
Yeah, I remember it well. And there was
I
a lot.
think your father-in-law was one of them.
He was one of them.
God.
Yeah. Gonna get me in trouble again.
Yeah.
but I'll get you in trouble. Let me get in trouble. That's because he's an older man and he's remembering Pearl Harbor. No, that's all it is. That's really all it is. And the theory that you got something, if I had what you had, I could be better than you. Schrader says it best. He says it's not how you run, it's how you place the blame. People are like, oh, well, I could win if I had money. Well, I remember growing up here and having so much money, and I said, man, one day when I get money, I'm going to buy a Big Mac, a large fry, and a large Coke. So what Billy went through was just, he was guilty of association. I just, I'd do anything for Billy, but there's so many older men, and they rightfully so. Pearl Harbor was horrible, but Toyota, I know a lot about Toyota. They are wonderful. I went down to Blue Mound, Mississippi, where they build the Corolla, and all those white rednecks, they get to lunch early because Toyota can't do anything wrong in America. They go by the rules plus. And they got 401ks and insurance, and they get paid good. And so when you know about Toyota like I know about them, it's just it's like saying you can't go to Berlin in Germany because that's where Hitler killed everybody. Well, you go there right now, and it's just a beautiful town.
Right.
Things wounds heal. But you never forget. And so it's just the way that Toyota deal went. My job was to educate people.
That was good to be around when Billy was running all that stuff, because it was fun being a friend in it, because you just dig at it. You just he'd win or something, and I'd be like, yeah, we took 2 cylinders out of it just to see if anyone.
There was so much jealousy over that.
It was
deal.
awesome.
Yeah, it was,
I could see the outsider looking in and being like, hey, that son of a bitch, man, he's got NASCAR money now and this and that, and blah blah blah.
I love talking about that stuff. Everybody knows that's my go-to. That was one of my. I gained so much, and it's all over now, which was a bummer because those were fun days. People were so mad at me for making a living in racing, and NASCAR money. After all those years, it'd be like our buddy Jim Black down there. He got scrap metal business money. If I had a scrap metal business, I could race too. And then you look at what was it? Who's the guy that was the national champion, Billy? That right now, Lika.
Lika, yeah.
Well, Lika's got a big, tree trimming business. That's what he does for a living. Well, if I had tree trimming business,
man.
What I learned was this is in everything. It just so happened that, I was on national TV, but you see it everywhere. The Klein kid that runs the late model. Oh, they got an appliance business.
Yeah.
Who down there right now? Who in Farmington? Who are they jealous of right now? Because they got some type of money. Any businesses down? You helped Zane. If I had Zane Smith money,
Got that cattle money.
Yeah.
He's got four or five cows.
And they all got names.
And a sheep.
Yeah,
And a
one sheep.
And I got a sheep. I can't say too much though, because every time we do the podcast, it seems like everybody that has money or something, I always be like, "You got a trucking company, don't you?"
Yeah.
Like that Brian Reich from Coles County, he was started talking about that, and I'm like, "Man, you're like the fourth person that's got a trucking company that owns all kinds of cool stuff. I got to get me a trucking company."
Right?
But I do it more fun than not.
Yeah, but it's sad how dumb people are. I mean, they're dumb, just capital DUMB. Like they barely made it through school. Those are the ones.
Yeah.
There's a few grown men that are smart and they're just jealous. But God, it's crazy how dumb people are.
I think
It's like we got a race,
jealousy is a lot of it.
And
People are jealous.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But the thing, Billy was winning before. It ain't like,
Right. You would have thought they thought that.
yeah, like it ain't like, just Billy went to work for Herm. Now he's fast all of a sudden.
No, he was fast, and we were smashing White Castles all over the car on Saturday night, and him racing the next week and winning in it.
We got us a new sponsor for the Dirty Right Rear podcast. Box 3 Media provides race teams across the U.S. with social media management, graphics for race days, sponsor announcements, professionally written press releases, exclusive product partnerships, and so much more. Take your reach and exposure to the next level for your team and your sponsors. Contact Lauren Kelly with Box 3 Media today by emailing box3racing@gmail.com or calling 920-905-0268.
Hey guys, this is Jeremy Booyer and Jeremy Sutton here with the Dirty Right Rear podcast. We want to highlight one of our sponsors, supporters, and everything else with Expert Graphics, Powder Coating, and Fabrication. Expert Powder Coating and Fabrication is a family-owned business out of Farmington over in the industrial park. You can go over there and get some graphics, lettering, anything for your race cars. Get some powder coating done for your race cars, any other kind of stuff. Get any kind of fabrication also done with them. You can come over there and talk to Andy Moss. He's in there just plugging away at the computer, designing everything, doing whatever he can. You got Dennis in the back with his lab coat, mixing up the powder coat, really getting the stuff going. And then you got Dan over there just fabricating anything and everything you want. But if you want to hit them up, Expert Powder Coating over in Farmington at the industrial park, you can give them a call, 573-756-7324. So Zane, since we're talking about your racing and stuff, you got any any superstitions or anything you got to do? Do you wear certain socks or anything, or do you do anything like that?
My dad pumps me up and calls me a badass.
Does he?
I love that.
Well,
Before every race?
Yeah, every
I
race.
think I've been doing that since you were 5 years old, haven't I?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he gets mad if I don't.
Oh, man.
so do you get all amped up and go out there and just drive the wheels off of it?
Yeah.
Run into people?
We'll settle down on that a little bit.
Yeah, he was a little wild at Coles County.
Yeah, we had a little Coles County and just big chaos, and like a bunch of quarter midget people were there, and they just got all up on Brian, the owner, and a bunch of stuff, just craziness happened, and they put a bunch of cars to the back, and Zane got put to the back, and he wasn't even in any of the stuff. And I mean, I know everybody says that, and they were actually part of it, but we didn't really know. We just said, heck with it. No big deal. So he got put to the back, and he ran through that field. I mean, it was a 20-car field, and I bet you he was up to fifth.
Yeah.
Something like that. And I mean, just ran through the field, just knocking people. And me and Billy are like, oh my God. Usually you're like, man, the dad of that 12 car, he's going to be on us after this. Well, we were like the dad of the 12, the 17, the 42, the 88, the 96. We stood at the fence, and finally they took the checker, and me and Billy got our arms on the fence. And I'm like, hey man, just keep looking at the track. Let's not turn around yet, because I think there's gonna be a whole bunch of people right here mad at us or whatever.
Yeah, we were afraid to go to the pits.
We were afraid to go. We're like, well, let Zane take care of it. Let him drive down to the pits.
Last lap, I got sent to, like 2 laps ago, I got sent to the back. So I just full on sent it on the last corner past 4 guys.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
That was the only time I've been scared that like
We
it
were
was
gonna
more
get
than
beat up.
one going to beat us up. But
So one question I always ask all of our guests in the Dirty Right Rear, but I'm going to leave you out of it today. Billy, what's the dirtiest right rear you've ever thrown on somebody? What's the dirtiest right rear you've ever had thrown on you?
Oh, probably I was in Lakeside, Kansas. This dude, we were on a start. It wasn't really a right rear, but it was on start. And I think it's the heat race. Front row, me and this dude. He's on the outside, and he just starts crowding me, pushing me down, and as we're getting the green, he pushes me into the U-tire and spins me out. Well, they put us both to the back. So as we're coming to the green, I just wrecked his ass. knocked the rear end out of his car. I was like, all right, dude, we want to play that game. You just screwed us both. And
Didn't you and Rick Canoyer wreck and get into it once?
oh, not really. He wrecked me one time at Granite City. He probably don't even remember it was me, but it was for a transfer spot for Modified Mania. But yeah, I think Frankie went and yelled at him. I don't remember.
What about you, Kenny? What's the biggest for you, or the?
It would be, so you asked me this earlier, so I had about an hour to think about it. Lincoln, Illinois, Alan Weisner threw a dirty slider on me. His right rear hit me in the door. And basically that was for, you got to finish in the top 3 in a heat race. Then the dirtiest slider I've ever given anybody. So, okay, this is a 2-part deal. I've never went into a corner and said, I'm going to clean this guy's clock. I've never done that, ever. I've had people mad at me that I've slid them and cleared them, like up in Fairbury, that last lap, 7 years ago. I cleared the guy, just totally cleared him, but he was so mad at me that I cleared him for the transfer spot that he ran all into me, and it was ugly. But I would say the one that shocked me was 2 years ago. Timmy Hill and myself, we were going down the back straightaway at Granite, and I thought I'm gonna. We were side by side. It was like my right front was at his door, and I'm like, I'm just gonna drive in here way harder than him and just clear him. Well, I forgot Timmy is a gangster. And I drove that son of a bitch. I drove my car. I swear it was down to the middle of the corner. And he stayed on my outside. And I thought for sure I was going to clear him. Oh my God. I won the race, but I paid a price. I mean, it cleaned the whole right side of my car off. And of course he was mad at me. But I called him. I said, Timmy, I said, I didn't go down in that corner to wreck you. I thought there's no way anybody's going to go down in this corner with me.
It was 2 guys that wasn't going to lift, sounds like.
Well, yeah, but I was on the inside, right? So,
Right.
I mean, I got the advantage.
Right.
And he still hates me to this day, but, I don't hate anybody.
Right.
But, yeah, so I guess that was the unintended dirty slider. I'm like, holy crap, he's still on my, so yeah, I spent the rest of the night fixing my car by myself right next to Danny M's using some of his pop rivets. But yeah, so that's it.
Let's hear a story about Billy and Kenny, time on the road, one of your most memorable moments. I'm putting you on the spot here.
2012 Summer Nationals. We won Terre Haute, and that was going to be our last Summer Nationals race. And then we go the next night, I think it's Bloomington, Indiana.
Yep.
And we win that, but it wasn't the Summer Nationals race. And then you were flying to go do TV. And I think before we left Terre Haute, Sam came up to me and says, man, it sucks. All you'd have to do is show up at Oakshade and you could win the championship. And I don't think you got any sleep. And we left Bloomington, drove to Terre Haute, spend the night, and you call me early in the morning, wake me up, says, hey, get in the hauler and drive to Oakshade. Tony Stewart said he's going to drop me off. And we go up there and we win the Summer Nationals championship. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, and there's a little bit of a backstory to that. So 2012, we're at Volusia, and there's 7 A mains. and we won 3 of them. And the Gators are right there. So there's 7 races, and we won 3 of the Gators. And that's when there was only 1 feature a night.
Yeah.
You know, like I'll say this, and I don't care. Those Gators I got, those are the real deals. Those are like, that's when you, right, kid?
Yep.
That's when you left and you were the baddest son of a bitch that night.
Yep.
They wasn't rewarding the slow guys.
Cars and only 1 Gator, 1 feature.
So I think that was the same time I told you to qualify my car, maybe.
I think I did that year. That year, I think I ran. That was a different year. That wasn't the year but I still was quick time in my group, and I think I got second in heat. But then it rained out after the heat race.
Right.
And then you ended up running the makeup feature, but I think somebody ran in and wrecked you.
I put my I flattened my own tire. But okay, but that's when it started. So here's what happened. I love that story you said because I'm working for Speed TV, Fox, and I'm doing the Bud Shootout pill draw. And Tony Stewart looks at me like I got 4 eyeballs. He goes, "What are you doing here?" And I'm like, "I got to do TV." He goes, "But you're leading the championship at Volusia." And at the time, I didn't value it. I looked at it as a little old modified, and the year went on, and we were winning everything. We won like 14 races, except the races we were winning were where there was 60 and 100 cars. So we won. You're right. We won.
Yes, we won.
Terre Haute.
There was another one that week we won.
Then we went to Bloomington.
Yeah.
And outrun De Young or whoever they are.
Yeah.
And it was a hell of a year. And all I could hear was Tony Stewart going, "You're going to give up a championship to do TV?" It bothered me so bad. And then the Summer National officials were kind of heckling us.
Yeah.
They're like, "Man, you dumbass! You're gonna go do TV in Loudon, New Hampshire, and all you got to do is start at because at the time they took your best 10."
Yeah, I think so. And you only had 9.
And Mike Harrison had ran 13, and I had only run 9.
Yeah.
So all I had to do was get to the
10.
10, yeah.
You have to run 10.
Yeah.
You can't run 9 no matter what. You
Right.
got to run 10. So I'm like, oh my God. And so, and then we led the whole race at
Oakshade,
Oakshade. My God, we pulled in and there was cars everywhere.
Late models were going out for hot laps when we rolled in the pits, I believe. It
Yeah.
was crazy. Everybody looked at us like, "What the hell are you doing here?"
Yeah, and we pulled it off. We led that whole race. In the last caution, I picked up a gigantic push.
Yeah, ended up third,
Fifth?
fourth,
Third or fifth.
Yeah,
And so that was wild. You're right.
Yep.
And the only reason it worked is because I called Tony Stewart and I said, "Tony, you told me something." He goes, "It's your lucky day." He says, "Because
he was going to Eldora, wasn't he?
He goes, he says, I'm leaving Loudon and going to Eldora for the Queen's Royal, something like
Kings
that.
Royal.
Kings Royal, yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Queen's Royal, that's in Farmington.
Tony Stewart's going.
So Tony, boy, I got lucky.
Yep.
And the good story.
Another funny Tony Stewart story is when he
Oh my God.
drove your car at Volusia. So another draw, he was doing the TV, and he calls me and said, "Hey, Tony's going to come out and run my car." I said, "All right." And I'll never forget it. Tony, he's in the car and he goes, "Hey, come here and stand by the car." I all those years, I thought,
I know exactly what you're saying.
yeah, I thought Tony was having me block him so people weren't taking pictures and stuff. Well, then you did that interview with him, and he said that he took a piss in your race car.
I never knew it. He ratted himself
I
out.
know. I didn't know. And that was years later. I'm like, oh my God, here I was blocking him so he could pee in the car.
But didn't he somehow pee in a cup, or did he pee in the car?
I think he peed in the
in the car.
floorboard. Yeah, I don't know how he did that. I'm not that
I felt
flexible,
so
but-
bad for him because the night before, Chad Kinder had wrecked on the front straightaway, and I clobbered him. and we put Tony in the car, and he couldn't go anywhere. He had to go through a B main in my car. And then later on, we found the axle tube was bent like 2 inches.
Yeah.
Oh, God. It was embarrassing for all of us.
You think we'll ever see Tony Stewart on dirt again, or those days?
I think we will. I think I just heard some talk about that.
Really, I'd love to see him back on dirt. I miss watching him, especially in a sprint car.
Yeah.
He was fun to watch in a sprint car.
I think Tony, you know how every once in a while I'll say, everybody was jealous of me, around home, which was disappointing. I come home to be around my friends, and those are the ones that hated me. See, everybody in the United States, they liked me. Hey, Herman, come bring your dirt carper. But it was my friends at home that hated me. There's an old saying, your enemies are your friends.
Yeah.
And it's true.
Well, when we traveled them USMTS races, that was a lot of fun when I first started working for
Yeah, because they were neutral. They liked us.
Yeah.
USMTS, they liked us.
Yeah, they were a good group of guys.
It was only the guys at Peevely and Farmington that hated us, But Tony, the point I'm trying to make is Tony peeled out of town because everybody they wouldn't stop.
Right.
They were just attacking him nonstop. And Tony basically, when you encapsulate all this, what you're talking about right now, will Tony come back dirt racing? He just got so tired of all the shit. It was just unbelievable.
Yeah.
And he's like, fuck all of you. I'm leaving. I fell in love with this girl. I'm going drag racing. You know what I mean? They finally,
Right.
it's like, you all are just taking all the good out of anything. It just got, and you know that.
Oh, yeah,
It
for
just
sure.
got
It
overbearing.
looks like he's having a blast.
He's
on it.
having, jokes on us.
Yeah.
I hate that. He's done a lot of great things for the sport, and it's only a handful of people, but those haters are the loud ones.
Well, I mean, my God, he's done. My mom gave me a shirt when I was a kid. It said, and the shirt's out there for everybody, but it's really good for life. It says, I have so many wonderful qualities. It's easy to overlook my few disgusting habits. So when you take Tony Stewart and you go, okay, what has he done bad? He hasn't done anything bad. It's just that he did something you didn't like.
Right.
But he's done nothing to you.
Right.
And then you go, okay, what has he done good? All he did was spend millions and millions and millions of dollars on dirt racing. He bought Eldora.
Yeah.
And as good as Earl did with it, Earl could only take it so far. And then Tony takes it and just makes this place the palace.
Yeah.
So because of Tony Stewart, didn't he buy All-Star, the sprint car series?
He did for a while.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. And that's what Kyle Larson and Brad Sweet took over. They bought it from Kenny,
Yeah.
or from Tony, and turned it into the high limit.
So when you go, what did Tony do bad to me? He didn't do nothing bad to you. Nothing. You just don't like him.
Yeah.
What did he do good for me? Gave you all these places to race.
Yep. And he's still fielding Donnie Schatz's car.
Yeah.
And who knows how many other cars also. But I hope we see him back in the dirt world.
Yep. Well, you want to wrap this show up, man? It's been a while.
Way better.
But, okay, well, this is episode 11, Dirty Right Here podcast. We had Billy and Zane and Kenny on. We want to thank everybody for coming on. We want to thank Kenny for letting us invade his shop. Man, this was a cool show. Talked about a lot of weird stuff. And
A little bit of
We
everything.
were all
There
over the place.
we
I
were everywhere,
had
so-
fun.
There was crying. There was laughing.
Right.
Yep, it was cool.
It was definitely a fun show.
definitely going to, anybody and everybody should be able to watch this one and get something out of it. So,
Yep, I mean, and if you like poop, there was talk about poop.
What all did we talk about?
everybody likes
We
poop.
talked about Tony Stewart. We talked about
Guys being
OnlyFans.
perverts.
girls, guys, clicking on. Yeah.
Yeah, you name
Only
it.
Poop in a
fans.
box.
We talked about IVF, pooping, porn.
My dad getting drunk.
What did he say?
My dad getting drunk.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so
was
thanks,
fun.
everybody, and we'll see you next time.
Yep.
Thanks.
Oh, shoot.
That was fun. That was fun. Very therapeutic.
Shit.
Trouble. Oh, boy, that was a close one.
Oh, it was.